All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to upload your files onto KDP in order to get your paperback book, your ebook, or your hardback book. In this example, I'm going to actually show you how to upload an ebook. The reason being is because it's all pretty much the same, except for with the hardback books and the paperback books, you're going to need to have your interior files formatted differently. And you're also going to have a front cover, a spine, and a back cover. So with ebooks, all you need is the front cover. And this is a little difficult for me to make this tutorial simply because I don't have any active books that I need to upload. So I will actually be uploading a white paper from my other business, Studio 822, and we'll see how this works here. So this is the home screen of Amazon KDP Direct Publishing or Kindle Direct Publishing. The website, if you're not familiar with it, is kdp.amazon.com. And this is the very first screen you're going to see once you log in. So once you log in, you'll have the bookshelf, and that is all the books that you've previously published. If you've not published any books, then you're not going to have any previously published books, obviously. So you can see this list here, all these previously published books by me. And we're just going to go ahead and create another book. So they make it really simple and it's really self-explanatory. Obviously, we're going to go to this big create button. And what I want to create is a Kindle ebook. Like I said, Amazon right now, they have Kindle, they have paperback, and they have hardcover. I was super excited about the hardcover because we have been waiting for years and years and years for this to come out. My hardcover books are not published through Amazon. They're actually published through Ingram Spark. So it made it a little difficult for authors if they wanted to have a hardback version of their book to keep everything in one place. So my hardcovers are actually on Ingram Spark versus Amazon right now, simply because Amazon just recently came out with the hardcovers last year. And they're still a little limited on what sizes you can actually upload. And Ingram Spark does have more variety in that aspect. But as you can see, the hardcovers are still basically in beta, but that is an option for you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to create ebook. Okay, so this is what everything is going to look like. This is going to look the same for paperback. It's going to look the same for hardback. So the process is still the same. Like I said, I do not have a specific book, but I am using a white paper I have from my other business. And this is what I'm going to enter in here. And so the title of that is How to Use YouTube to Bring All right, here you're just going to put in your book title. We're going to scroll on down. And if your book is part of a series, this is where you put the series detail. This is not going to be part of a series, so I'm just going to skip that part. As example, like I've mentioned previously, I have written book series and I did add in the series details and everything else like that. If it was volume 1, 2, 3, etc., just so people will know. You can put in an edition number. So this would be relevant if you're doing something like a textbook. So I actually just published a textbook earlier in 2021. And so that was edition number 1. And if I ever updated it, it would be edition number 2, obviously. Okay, so author, we're going to go ahead and put in oops. That just automatically filled out. Okay, contributors, this is where you put your illustrators, your editors, and things like that. If you do have an illustrator, please, please, please do not forget to put them down as a contributor to your book. I've seen many new authors do that they don't acknowledge the illustrator. If they're doing a children's book or something with illustrations, they don't acknowledge the illustrator. And I think that's completely wrong. So if you do have an illustrator, most definitely make sure that you put them down as a contributor. If you have an editor that played a significant role, yes, you can go ahead and put that on there as well. And, narrator, we're not doing that because this is not Audible. Photographer, etc., etc. Okay, so that's what this is for. This is an optional. Okay, description is basically the description of your book. So I don't have a book, so I'm just going to write sample text. Okay, and publishing rights. So Amazon's going to ask you if you have the copyright to whatever you're going to be uploading, or if it's a public domain work. You can use public domain works and recycle them and upload them on Amazon and KDP and things like that. But mine is not a public domain work. So you own the rights and copyrights. So that's what I'm going to check. And then keywords. So these are optional, but we all know what keywords are. This is how to find your book basically and how you would describe your book. And so some specific keywords for my white paper would be, excuse me guys, I can't type and talk at the same time. So just an example. Okay, and then categories. Okay, so categories can get a little confusing if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. So you're going to first make a determination, is your book fiction or nonfiction? And if you are a youth writer and write for children, obviously there are different categories for them. And then education and reference. So a majority of my books go down under education and reference. But we're going to try nonfiction and see if we see anything related to like business or marketing or something like that. So, and this can always be changed too. So, there are a couple things when you upload a book that are pretty much permanent, but there are a lot of things that you can change. So, don't stress out if you feel like you've gotten the wrong category or, you think you've messed something up, because a lot of it is basically you can change a lot of it. So I click business and then, yeah, let's just do entrepreneurship. I saw that somewhere. There. Yeah, okay, let's just do entrepreneurship just for the sake of this tutorial. Okay. And so you'll see that your categories are set here. And we're going to go for the age and grade range. So this is optional as well, but if you had a children's book, you would most definitely want to make sure that you're putting in the age range for the children. Grade range, same option here. And then pre-order. So this is basically if you want to release your book now, like this says, or if you want to have your book available for pre-order. I will tell you, out of all the books that I've published, I've never set a book up for pre-order for a few reasons. Simply because I'm one of those types of people that I'm afraid that something may go wrong when the pre-order date occurs. And for some reason, something needed to be changed and I didn't get to do it in time. But the thing about it is, if you're ready to release your book now, this does not take long. So once you upload everything, your book will be available for purchase on Amazon within 72 hours max. And from someone who has published as many books as I have published, sometimes my books get published within a couple hours of uploading them. So unless you're planning a huge launch and everything else, I would not do this for pre-order because it's really not going to take that long. And once you do get your book up, you can actually check it out to make sure everything looks good. You're going to have an option here on the computer to do so, but it's always good if you have like a physical copy to make sure that you get one sent home, and then that way you can go through it. So that's my reason that I've never done a pre-order for my book. But To each his own. If that's what you want to do, you can do. Okay, so we're going to hit save and continue, and it's going to take us to the next screen here. Okay, so it's the Kindle ebook content. And then we are going through the manuscript. So it's asking if we are going to enable digital rights management or not. So basically, digital rights management in layman's terms means that your book can be freely shared on the internet and can be found in different websites. So personally, I don't. And this is something that cannot be changed. So let's see. Yes, right here. This is one of those settings that I said that is one of the few that cannot be changed. So this is basically saying once you publish your book, you cannot change its DRM setting. So that this is for somebody who wants to actually freely encourage the readers to share their book with other people without payment necessarily. So I don't typically do this, and I don't. So I'm going to leave that no. Okay, so the next thing is to upload our ebook manuscript. So let's see how this works, because I didn't get anything formatted because I don't actually have a book. So let's see. Yes, my white paper here on YouTube. Okay, so it's telling me that the PDF files don't produce great results in automated conversion process. I understand that. This is just an example. So you can continue with that if you want. But like Amazon is saying here, Word, Mobi, EPUB, or HTML. Like I said, I do not have any active books that are going to be published. So this is just a sample that I had on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with PDF, okay? The thing about it is you're always going to get a chance to look at your book before it's been published. So it's not a huge deal if, you upload a PDF versus a Word document. But like I said, this is demonstration purposes only. All right, so now we're at the point where we're going to upload our cover or launch the cover creator. KDP has a cover creator, but I've never actually used this. I suggest having professional graphic designers design your book covers. I will say that 1,000 times. You want to make sure everything looks great. For purposes of this demonstration, I have actually gone to Canva and I created a cover in 2 minutes, but I do not suggest this. Like I said, get a professional graphic designer and have them do your cover. So we're not going to launch the cover creator because I'm not going to make a cover. And what is going to happen is I am going to upload a cover file. This here, obviously I uploaded the wrong file because I had the wrong size, but we're going to try another one here. All right, so my sample manuscript, which is not in the optimal version, and my sample ebook cover has been uploaded. So now we actually have the previewer. So like I said, Amazon will allow you to preview everything before everything goes live. And it says that's converting my file, and it may take a little bit. So this may look a little funky considering the fact that I'm not using images or files that are supposed to be used necessarily for an ebook. So we'll see how this goes. This process typically doesn't take that long to prepare your files. It just takes a little bit. And my white paper is actually fairly short for a book, so this really should not take that long. There we go. Okay, so here's the preview. Here is the preview of the ebook. And so you see my cover that I made, and then yeah. So surprisingly, this was not formatted for an ebook, but it looks pretty darn good. So you're going to go through here and you're just going to click and view everything. Looks like everything looks good. Things that I would suggest you really pay attention to are like things like this when you have bullet points, because these bullet points may have been linear in one line, but this is still readable here. Also, your tables and graphs. If you have a table and a graph, sometimes those look really funky in ebooks. but this does not have any tables or graphs. So this is what this is going to look like when everything's published. You can also go to a iPad version or Kindle version, so people who are reading on tablets, so you can see what everything's going to look like. So it looks pretty good. So let's go back to book details. This is where you go back. So you've already done your viewing. This is going to work the same way with your paperbacks, remember. So same exact way. Go back to book details. All right, and now we are going to go down here, Kindle ebook ISBN. So ISBNs are basically your identification for your books. I can purchase ISBNs from Bowkers, or I can use the Kindle or Amazon ISBNs. And as someone who has published so many books, I have done a mixture for different reasons. Basically, the ISBNs that are through Amazon, that is the only place that those books can be sold. I have an ISBN for my textbook because that means my ISBN on that particular textbook can be sold in different places versus just on Amazon. And it can be carried in a bookstore like Barnes and Noble or somewhere else like that versus just being on Amazon. So if you have an Amazon ISBN, your book is not necessarily going to be picked up by a library or a bookstore if that's your ultimate goal. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I have a mixture simply because some of my books I know are never going to end up in a library or a bookstore and I don't care. And so I use the Amazon or Kindle ebook ISBN. Same goes for your paperback and hardback versions. So if you publish a book and you have a paperback, hardback, and ebook version, you will need 3 different ISBNs. Keep that in mind. So when you go to bowkers.com, that is where you actually officially buy ISBNs. ISBNs are not cheap, but they are cheaper if you buy them in bulk. So if you want to go that route, just keep that in mind. If you're going to publish a book in more than one format, you're going to need multiple ISBNs. But for this example here, we're just going to use a Kindle ISBN. But on top of that, Kindle ebooks do not actually need an ISBN. So this is optional. So the paperbacks, hardbacks, yes, they need an ISBN, but the Kindle ebooks do not necessarily need an ISBN. But if I had one, I could put it here. So we're going to save and continue, and our next step is pricing. And this is our last step. Okay, so we're going to say the first thing that they do ask you is KDP Select Enrollment. Basically, what KDP Select Enrollment does is it has your book on a contract for 3 months, I believe. And that means you cannot sell your ebook anywhere else, including your own website. So if I had this as a book on my website and I was selling it and I was also in the KDP Select, I would be violating Amazon's KDP terms of service, and I would get kicked from the program, or they could shut down my Amazon account if it's something that continues. So most definitely weigh your pros and cons. Also with the KDP Select Enrollment, your book is going to be available in the lending library so people can actually check out your book. And this is people who have Amazon subscriptions. I believe it's $9, $10 a month, and they can check out different Kindle books basically for that $10 a month. And one of your books can be one of the ones that they actually check out. So keep that in mind. You can earn more money on KDP, but if you ever wanted to make sure that you had the ability to sell your ebook on your website, you cannot enroll in KDP Select and do that. So I don't care. This is not going to be on sale for my website. So I typically do enroll my book in KDP Select. Okay, so territories. Do you have worldwide rights? And I have worldwide rights because this is my property. This is my book. So I am going to select worldwide rights. Okay. My primary marketplace is here in the US. So I'm going to choose Amazon.com. Okay, now this is the pricing. Sometimes it can get tricky. It was really tricky for me when I first started. So you can select 35% or you can select 70%. And it's going to tell you whether or not you click on whichever one. It tells you what the prices must be between. If it's 35% royalty, it needs to be between 99 cents and 200. And if it's 70%, it needs to be between 299 and 999. So this is typically where my ebooks fall, so 70% range. And if you type in what it is that you want, you'll be able to see what your royalties are going to be. So royalty for 35% will be $350. Royalty for 70% will be $697. So I'm going to continue with that. And then this is automatically going to convert everything over in the different countries. Way back in the day, they did not do this automatic conversion. So you had to go through here and individually kind of figure out what you're going to sell your book for in different countries. I'm glad they do this now. So this makes everything so much easier. And this is going to tell you what you're going to get paid out in the different currencies around the world. Okay. And then we have lending. So this is basically what I was telling you about earlier about the book lending in the library. So this is already locked, is already chosen because it seems like the 70% royalty option, they're required to be in the Kindle book lending program now. So we are going to go down here, terms and conditions. Like I said, it can take up to 72 hours for your title to be available for purchase on Amazon. But in my personal experience, it typically takes just a few hours, maybe 12. Sometimes I'll do this at night and I'll wake up in the morning, my book's already available. But the thing about it is that your book may be for sale on Amazon, but it's not going to appear in the search terms yet. So that actually will take a few days before it actually shows up in the search terms to be searched by an outside source and show up. Okay. So at this point, it is telling you that you can publish your book. So you can publish your book or save this as draft. Like I said, since this is just a sample tutorial, this is going to be saved as a draft, and I'm not going to go through that with the publishing process right now. So I hope this video helped you understand the KDP publishing process for your ebook. And like I said, this is the same way you're going to do your hardback and your paperback book. It's just going to be a little bit different with your cover and your interior. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.